Welcome back. Castries North Independent candidate Stevenson King hosted a press conference on Monday where he addressed controversies stirred up by SLP political leader Philip J. Pierre, who indicated that King had joined the SLP. King maintains his independence from any political party and further delved into his reasons for leaving the ranks of the UWP due to what he says was increasing corruption and disrespect.
Stevenson King is not shying away from denouncing anything that goes against the cause of the people and is professing his commitment to stamp out corruption, abuse of power, and violation of the constitution of the land. The man who has professed to be focused on the cause of the people is clearing the air about a number of things, including claims that he has joined the Labour Party or whether he would consider being part of a coalition government. King, who has stated that he is independent of all established parties, says that in the heat of the moment, politicians can say many things. He was referring to comments made by SLP political leader Philip J. Pierre on Saturday.
I do not have pending any application to the St. Lucia Labour Party. I have no intention of applying for membership to the St. Lucia Labour Party. I enter this race on this occasion as a free agent, as an independent candidate, independent to serve the people in their interests. And I would hope that no one should misconstrue what the gentleman has said. And I believe he has taken responsibility for his statement, for that there is no application before the St. Lucia Labour Party for a membership of their party.
He has not, however, ruled out the possibility of a coalition government.
I have said to you early on that I have no intentions of joining the St. Lucia Labour Party. But there are good men on both sides. Whereas the contamination within the United Workers' Party may be concentrated on two individuals, maybe three, there are good men in the United Workers' Party and in the Labour Party. And if I believe a coalition can be formed with the good men on both sides, I will venture to bring that coalition together. If I believe that the Labour Party can present to me their philosophy and their politics that meets my intentions, my vision, my commitment to the people of the country, there's probably room for conversation.
As for allegations of bribery on the part of the Economic Development Minister, King maintains that he will speak up once an investigation can be launched.
I believe that this matter is so serious that I have taken a decision to deal with it once we can conduct the necessary investigation that I will give evidence in. That's how serious I believe it is. Once an investigation can be established, a proper investigation, and there is a report of findings, I will be prepared to give the necessary evidence.
Nisha Charles, Hot 7 TV, Election Central.
Meanwhile, SLP Communications Officer Mondi Lewis is clearing the air on the matter. She says political leader Philip J. Pierre did not mean that Stevenson King had become a member of the SLP, but was rather joining the fight against Alan Shastay's reign of power.
We are aware of the statement that Honorable Stevenson King put out, and perhaps he too misinterpreted, but he would have known that, there have been no discussions. But I suppose the sensationalism by which the United Workers' Party is pushing this rhetoric, because they cannot deal with the fact that one of their longest-serving members and dearly loved by the public and the party has left them. So they need somebody to point a finger at. And, of course, it will be the St. Lucia Labour Party. So we are aware of the press release issued by Honorable Stevenson King. And just to make it clear, he is right. He has never applied for membership of the St. Lucia Labour Party, and Mr. Pierre never said that either. He welcomes anyone, including Honorable Stevenson King, to join the Labour Party in the fight against Alan Shastay, and we will join forces on July 26th to vote Alan Shastri and his regime out.
Lewis was tight-lipped about whether the SLP will present a full slate of candidates for the general election. Speculation has been rife that the SLP's strategy may include not contesting the Castries North and Castries Central seats.
The St. Lucia Labour Party will always do what is in the best interest of St. Lucia. And Mr. Pierre has spoken to tactical approaches and strategic approaches. And in the coming days, we will see by nomination day on the 16th of July, as everything unfolds, the slate of candidates that the St. Lucia Labour Party will be presenting to the general public.
That was SLP's communications officer, Mondi Lewis. Commentator Richard Pitterkin says the contest for the Castries North seat has now gripped the nation. He believes that given the long-standing relationship that Stevenson King has with his constituents, there is a chance that he can pull off a win. However, he says the UWP has made a strategic choice with its candidate.
Stevenson King's announcement to contest the next general election as an independent candidate is still the talk of the town. Some have labeled King's exit from the party as a betrayal, while others say it was the right thing to do and was a demonstration of national interest over party interest. The support that Stevenson King has received over the last few days has piqued interest. Can King pull off a victory in the Castries North seat as an independent candidate? Commentator Richard Pitterkin definitely thinks so.
The only instance of a third party winning a seat in St. Lucia was John Odlum in 1982 under PLP. Otherwise, it's a wash. Third parties don't win. It's always been the two parties. Independents don't win. Mr. Fredericks may be an outlier in that regard. So when you take all of that in consideration, you'd say, okay, history is not kind in independence, history is not kind in third parties, so therefore, on that basis, if the electorate is very polarized, one party or the other, it would suggest that, Mr. King's chances aren't going to be that great. But I think regardless of all of that Mr. King's chances at this present point seem to be better than anybody else.
Less than 24 hours following receipt of King's resignation, the United Workers' Party launched their candidate for Castries North, the immediate past president of Senate, Janine Jarodi McIntyre. Pitterkin says she does come across as a very suitable candidate.
I have heard, Janine McIntyre's statements when she came out, and I think if the UWP had to find a candidate, they could not have found a better one than her, in the sense that she's got a great CV, she's pedigree in terms of the Flambeau, going all the way back, and she's been the president of the Senate for a while. So, if you had to at this late minute find somebody to throw in there with even a hope of being able to win the seat, that's probably your best bet. And so I wish her luck in that regard, and who knows, she could make a great parliamentarian. But you have to accept that the odds are against her simply because she's coming so late, because Mr. King is so popular individually with his constituents, and generally has looked after people because he does. Over the years, he has that personal touch. Not all politicians have that.
The opposition St. Lucia Labour Party to date has not endorsed a candidate for the Castries North constituency. Pitterkin believes this was a deliberate strategy.
If Mr. King had been running for the UWP, he was unbeatable, and the SLP knew that. They did not have an obvious choice that was going to be able to come in and give him a run for his money. They had to sit down and figure out, well, how do we deal with this? Do we put somebody up to be a sacrificial lamb, knowing they're going to lose? And if we are, let's do it as early as we can and give him at least a chance, or her. And in all of this, let's not forget Daisy St. Rose, who is an interesting third-party candidate for the National Green Party. But, so I believe they held off, and people, all kinds of names came up, and you heard things and so on, and you wondered, why are they taking so late? It almost seemed to be an insult to you in a constituent to say, well, if you don't want to put anybody else to run, then I am not interested in your party, because you're not interested in me. But it is clear, when you look back at it, that they had a strategy, and the strategy is that we understand Mr. King is not happy. Maybe he will cross the floor. Maybe he will become an independent. Maybe he won't even run. Let's just wait and see. And as it got closer and closer, They must have had some intelligence along the road that he was going to make this move.
The contest for Castries North is one to watch, with UWP candidate Janine Jarodi McIntyre, independent candidate Stevenson King, and NGB candidate Daisy St. Rose vying for the seat. Genevieve Gonzague, Hot 7 TV Nightly News, Election Central.
Today, Monday, the 12th of July, the Ministry of Health and Wellness received confirmation of 6 cases of COVID-19. The contact tracing for these cases is underway. Confirmation was also received of the recovery of 3 individuals, bringing the total number of active cases to 130. Presently, one of the active cases is requiring critical care at the respiratory hospital. The new cases bring the total number of cases diagnosed in country to date to 5,416. Carnival stakeholders are crying foul over the spectacle of political campaigning vis-a-vis the lack of will on the part of the government to host a virtual carnival. President of Balance Inc., Lennon Prosper, says given the events he witnessed over the weekend, he finds it disappointing that no consideration was given to a proposed virtual Calypso Monarch competition.
Rallies and motorcades were reminiscent of Carnival over the weekend. Loud music, mass gatherings, and a parade of vehicles. The events over the weekend raised many eyebrows as leaders who usually advocate for adherence to protocols were part of and leading the mass gatherings. President of Balance Incorporated, Lennon Prosper, has pitched and advocated for a virtual Calypso event and was met with silence. Prosper highlights the hypocrisy in that a virtual Calypso event, which would adhere to the protocols, was seemingly ignored, but motorcades where protocols were defied received the go-ahead.
But it's kind of hypocritical of the powers that be, that, you will not even have a meeting with us to discuss something like Calypso, which is within the protocols, But then you could drop the protocols so much that people are literally whining and grinding on each other in the road, and the amount of revelers I saw, I didn't even call that a motorcade because by the kind of party I saw on the road.
Prosper says that the initial letter was never responded to and subsequent communication was minimal.
We have not been responded to when it comes to the letter that we sent in since April. We have not been responded to. However, we still sent in a proposal asking to do something, and the ministry actually responded asking us what data we're looking at. We did that, but we are yet to receive any responses from ECSL or anybody else.
Prosper says that this treatment is disrespectful and artists of a country should not be treated this way, as they are essential to the sustenance and development of culture. For the Hot 7 Nightly News, I am Karim Nelson.
The president of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association is pleading with supporters on all sides of the political divide to cease and desist from mass crowd activities and unmasked events to avert a health crisis.
The level of election campaigning this past weekend is a cause for concern, as the 2 main political parties were seen engaged in activity which has not been sanctioned by the authorities. Motorcades filled with supporters not practicing social distancing and unmasked, as well as those who paraded in the streets tantamount to a carnival experience. The events have caught the attention of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, who says that what transpired over the weekend is a disgrace.
We, the physicians, the members of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, watched in utter horror yesterday the motorcades and the mass crowd gatherings and the carnival, literal carnival, as some social media users put it, yesterday, July 10. This is the height of irresponsibility. We are living through a pandemic. The fact that political parties think that trying to outdo each other in terms of the numbers of St. Lucians unmasked or inadequately masked, some of them inebriated, just parading in the streets, speaking loudly. So it is horrifying.
Dr. Clark is cautioning the public to practice the COVID-19 protocols as St. Lucia continues to be in a vulnerable position.
The reality is in neighboring islands, Barbados, St. Martin, in the French islands, the Delta variant has been identified. The Delta variant has been shown to be more contagious and potentially more deadly. Our source markets for tourism also, the dominant strain is the Delta variant, so we cannot let our guard down. We're saying this again in the context of the relatively low vaccination rate here in St. Lucia. 12% of our population is vaccinated, owing in large part to conspiracy theories and so many other issues that we as healthcare providers have to fight against in terms of educating the general public.
She is calling on supporters to practice restraint and to refrain from partaking in these mass gatherings, lest they do contract COVID-19 and are unable to vote.
We'd like to remind our fellow St. Lucians that if you do contract COVID-19, in all of this, you still can't vote. So you'll be doing a disservice to the party that you so passionately support that you feel the need to go out in the streets to show your support with such exuberance. COVID-19 has a long incubation period, 14 days. Let us remember that after all is said and done, after the dust is settled, we are all St. Lucians. There is no need to go out into the streets and to put yourself at risk.
The SLMDA president is urging residents to get vaccinated as it remains the most effective weapon against COVID-19. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Stay with us, there's more news after the break.